There's a silence so deep in the middle of the ocean that even the loudest screams can be lost. And in that silence, 10 ordinary people were trapped. This isn't a story, not a movie, but reality. A reality in which 10 people lived on a deserted island for 9 years. 9 years without their families. 9 years without the sounds of the city. 9 years where every morning was a battle to survive. When the world first heard about them, the newspapers called it a miracle. But inside their hearts, it was nothing less than hell. So how did they get there? And how did they survive when death was all around them? That's today's story. It all started with a journey. 10 people, some fishermen, some small traders, a family, and 2 little boys, barely 12 or 13 years old. They had set out to cross the ocean in search of livelihood, hope and a better life, but the ocean writes its own laws. That day the ocean decided and took a decision. Dark clouds rose on the horizon, winds roared like lions and their small boat sank in the ruthless waves of the storm. When the storm subsided, the ocean had taken away everything, only 10 heartbeats were left and all 10 of them were thrown on a deserted, unknown island. No map, no radio, no help. Only silent trees, rocky ground and the sea which gave them food and could swallow them any time. Initially, they thought someone would come, a ship would pass by, someone would come to rescue them. But days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and slowly the truth dawned, no one would come. Imagine how it felt at that moment. Standing on the seashore, knowing that perhaps your name, your identity, had been erased from the world, and that your old life would never return. Now, there was only one way to escape. But how? How does one make a living when there is nothing? Hunger struck first. They dug up the ground. An entire life can change. For those 10 people, 9 years, every day was the same sun, the same sea, the same imprisonment. Some even stopped counting the days. Because when time stops, numbers become dishonest. But fate is not always silent. One morning, a shadow appeared in the fog. At first, it seemed the mind was deceiving them. Years of agony make a person hallucinate. But no, it was reality. They lit a ship, waved their hands, and this time called out to the sea. 9 years later, they were rescued. When they returned to land, the world did not recognize them. Their children had grown up. Their names had long been written on the list of bereaved. And now they were strangers in their own home. They had learned to live on the island. But returning proved even more difficult. For a person who had endured 9 years of captivity at sea could never build a city. Today, experts call this one of the most remarkable examples of human resilience. Psychologists believe it was not just food and water that kept them alive, but also a team of entrusting others and sharing hope. The lesson of this story is that a person does not live only because of hunger or thirst, but as long as the fire burns within him. We hoped, we believed, and the need to live. Perhaps we were all stranded on our own islands, fighting our own battles, but just as these 10 people supported each other, so should we, because in the end, the ocean is vast, but with the spirit of it. This was the story of those 10 people who lived for 9 years on a deserted island and will punish the world for it. It is going to be okay.